We are live, Link Johnson.
All right.
So, welcome to Custom Creator and Link Johnson,
Yes,
the
yes.
man, the myth, the legend. We are gonna.
OGT's in the building.
That's right. We're gonna start this little live stream by telling each of our story on how we found the band Tool. But it is a Q and A, so you can make requests or talk or whatever you guys feel like. All right, Link, tell me, man, how did you find Tool?
All right. Like I say, like the saying goes, they say you don't, you don't find tool finds you. So I say my journey began back when I was probably around 11, 12, something like that, hanging with my friend Trey Moken from across the street. We stayed in an apartment complex together, and he used to sing, little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. I was like, what is this crazy shit you singing? He used to sing it all the time on the playground, on the skateboards, riding, you know what I'm saying, out just being kids. So, back in the day, spend the night over your buddy's house and stay up late playing video games and shit like that. Uh, his dad used to let us sit up, listen to music, eat snacks and watch videos and shit. So we was in there, and the video came on. That
Right?
was the first time seeing it. And I was like, "Oh, this crazy shit just got my attention," and it was cool. Dun, 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 dun. It's like, yeah, I likes this. So that was like my first thing to knowing. Years later, when like Beavis and Butthead shows like that came out, I remember seeing
Talking about sober.
yeah, I think I seen Sober on
And that's
there.
Promise that does the intro for Beavis and Head, ain't it?
I think so. I couldn't remember.
I think it is.
Back then, I was more in between the hip hop culture, you know what I'm saying, and just
Right.
being around the rock world because it was just in my community. So I had love for all the music. Then I fast forward on up to around the time when A Perfect Circle came out, and I was dating this chick that was a Deftones fan, and she had me really, really deep off into that ambient sound of Deftones, you know what I'm saying, with her. But she knew I had like a hard rock spirit to me too. So this was around the time when they was making mixed CDs, burning songs onto CDs. And so
Making
she
mixtapes and shit, yeah.
yeah, so she burnt me a CD with like 17 songs on it. And I used to play this CD like going to work every day, and I would just skip through. Like it had 17 songs in there, but I would skip to the same three all the time. And it was Judith, Weak and Powerless, and Sober. And I couldn't put the correlation together. Like they was one band, one person. I just knew these songs just resonated with me. And I was
Right.
like, I like these three songs. So I went to her, I was like, who sings these songs? And then so she was like, that's actually two different bands. That's A Perfect Circle and Tool. She was like, you might like this. So like around that time, around my 25th birthday came up, and she had bought me the Lateralis CD for my birthday. And
2006.
yeah, so I was like all into like impressing her, I guess, at the time with shit. So I was like listening to it all day. Like she gave me this for a reason. Let me listen to it. But I was like, fuck, this is me. Like she knew I would like this, and I found Reflection on there, and it was Reflection that
Yeah,
really,
that
really,
song's so
really,
good.
really, really caught me. Because like I say, I could dig this the Tool style. I could dig the lyrics. I could dig the long drawn out, just the way you could just beat rock to the offbeat of it. But it was Reflection. Since I was a hip hop producer, it had that 2/4 measure. So if you like rap music, you can bob your head to Reflection.
Yeah,
I
you
was like,
got
this motherfucker
Tool
groovy
got
right here.
bars.
Yeah, I'm like this motherfucker's groovy. This the song. But when I got into the lyrics of it, it woke me up because I was really living, I was living that life around strippers, gangsters, you know what I'm saying, running the streets and
Hmm.
smoking guns and doing all this. So I was like, this song, the lyrics when it said, "So crucify the ego before it's far too late, and leave behind this place so negative and blind and cynical, and we will come to find that we are all one mind, capable of all that's imagined and all conceivable." I was just like, fuck, that's talking
It
to
hits
me.
hard.
It's talking to me. And I was like, it's something in that just made me like kind of like really stop really carrying guns like that. Stop the aggressive, machismo that was going on everywhere I went. I just kind of like put a calm to that and like check the ego. You know what I'm saying? I kind of checked my ego. I had a lot of arrogance. I had a lot of because I had a lot of people that had my back around. I had a security team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like people would like if you walked up to me, people would walk up to you and be like, hey, Link, is he cool? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, I had to check a lot of ego, and that song did it. And it really just started drawing me
So you
more
was a
over.
big homie. You had little homies.
Yeah,
I
it
know
drew
how it
me
works.
more into that realm. And so I had picked up a perfect circle. And that was like right at the beginning of them. So I've been on Perfect Circle since the first album. And when I got locked up, somebody introduced me to Pussifer in there. And by the time I came out, I had like I knew everything about Tool, you know what I'm saying? So I just kind of like dove deeper and deeper into it. But I had never been to the concert. I didn't know the community like that. Facebook started jumping off. Facebook was getting more popular by the time I got out. And it wasn't around till like 2018 when those commercials started coming out. So I'm about find your groups and Facebook groups and all that was just now
Yeah, the
coming.
chat rooms were born.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if it's a group of Tool fans. And boom, I found like all of them. Introduced myself into all of them. Got to know everybody. That's why we sitting here now because I just made myself mixed into the Tool army like this.
That is how we met. So we've been friends a long time, everybody. Before, what up, Davey? Davey D's nuts. I love your fucking name,
What up?
brother.
What up? What up?
He's still
What
army
up,
too.
Dave?
So,
Okay.
uh, and yeah, the chat rooms, man, are great because I don't really like the Facebook news, the main thread. Too
Yeah.
much drama on there, and I'm in 14 of them right now. So I mean,
Yeah.
you in right now.
Uh,
Uh, I'm in
Probably
like
everything
6.
that's got Tool in it. I even start the group One Spark that I created that, which is kind of like the dating group for Tool fans.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Find your own hippie chick or
Yeah.
or
And
or
so
male, whatever you may want. I mean,
yeah, it went from like never going to a concert to showing up to the concerts, knowing everybody, just basically partying with my friends. The reason why I live in LA now is because of Tool, what I'm saying? Meeting the man that I work for, which is a Tool fan, moving out here to work for him and hanging out. It's like Tool really said go this way in life.
so Link, ain't you was in KC before you moved to LA, right?
No, actually I was in St. Louis. Then I moved to Kansas City. I stayed in Texas for a while too. Came back to St. Louis and then moved to Illinois right across the water. Then I went to Ohio. Remember, I was there for about a year and a
Under
half.
a dead Ohio sky,
Yep, I
yeah.
was in Ohio for a little while, and I fucking hated Ohio, so I got the hell out of there. Came back to St. Louis, and then I went to Kentucky for a little while last year. And I was like, you know what? I'm just tired of the Midwest. I'm tired of the South. Tired of the East Coast. I done lived all up and down all of that. I ain't been out west, and I just sent my car out here, made my plans, and said I'm on my way. And I've been out here since November.
Man, I'm proud of you too. You've been doing big things out there, bro. I mean, really.
Right on. Thanks, bro, man. I'm
You're welcome, man. You deserve
I'm
it.
proud of you in this right here, being able to be on this platform with you. Because, like I said, we're gonna get a chance to do this. I had to get a chance to sit still for a minute, so here I am.
Right. See, Link for a long time has had his comments turned off, and I didn't know why because he uploads concerts all the time. The man been to more concerts than well, any of you that ain't new to the channel, you've heard me talk about Link at least once or twice. And yeah, I always wonder like why the hell can't I comment on your videos, man? I want to bad.
I ain't know what the hell I
So
was doing. I was just posting my shit.
he had the children's videos turned on everything.
Right, all
But
them kids' videos with
all them
Tool.
kids listen now to change, man. What the hell?
Hey, the new generation need to be hip. I got them there.
Yeah, man. That's why I know I give William a lot of hell, but
Yeah,
Link has seen William too. I mean I've never seen Change period. I've seen Jerry Cottrell, like I said, the year Lane died, open for Metallica, and
yeah,
Days of the New open for Jerry. I just stay up in the room, and
yeah. That was a classic moment there to be able to be
so
like right in front of
what
it.
concert did you go to first?
The first concert, my first Tool concert was now this that was a whole nother thing because after I got into the Facebook groups and I started knowing people, I was like, ain't no way I'm finna miss no concert now. The Fear Inoculum album dropped 2 days after my birthday in 2019, so I'm like, I felt like that was like my personal birthday present, and I had a cousin that just got out of jail, and I introduced him to Tool because he was already a Avenged Sevenfold fan. He was like the only two cousins that was like straight metalheads in the family.
Right.
So that January, it was like the day after Kobe died, and I got my tickets to go to
Uh-huh.
Memphis. I lived in St. Louis, and I was only like 3 hours away. So like we driving down there going to the Tool concert. And that was my first Tool concert. Didn't know nothing about the posters. That's why the Memphis poster is my holy grail right now to get because I ain't know nothing about them then. But I went to that show, and it was instantly it was like it was meant for me because I always had said if ever I see Tool live, I want to see Parabola, and they did that at the fucking Memphis show, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm here, and it was like a 16 song set list, that night. It was one of the longest Tool shows of the tour, like
Yeah, I
they
got
stopped doing them
parabola.
that long.
I got it stapled in my arm. Yeah.
Them words
So,
is life, bro. And
yeah, it is.
after that,
Tool
yeah,
is
I've been to
life.
ten concerts since then, outside of, Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, Bush, Metallica, every other concert in between, you know what I'm saying?
You know the singer for Breaking Benjamin used to be in a Tool cover band. That's why he
What's
always
his name? You talking about
uh,
from
uh
Bush?
no
Breaking Benjamin?
Breaking Benjamin.
What's his
Hell is
name?
his name, man?
I don't know. I got my footage
There's
is on
several.
my, you can see it on my page when I went to that concert.
No, I'll put it.
I'm
We
not
won't
wasn't
play it
really
yet, but I'll.
a Breaking Benjamin fan, but I know like some of their songs.
Well, man, I just had his name. Oh, for a second, I had it. Anyway, he always does a Tool song acoustic after every Breaking Benjamin show. Used to.
Huh.
So, man, what is his daggone name? It don't matter. He does Prison Sex acoustic. I love that. Right there, you went to 2023 Rockville.
Yeah, that was at Rockville.
Now here's Link's page.
Yeah, if anybody
Um,
want to check me out, there's all of my adventures, I guess.
look at all the concerts this man's been to. I mean, come on, man, take me to one. We did just go see Tool when I met Greg in January, and I know you would have come went with me if you hadn't ironically ended up in L.A.
Yeah, yeah, oh hell yeah. That's
Yeah,
why I
so
say if I couldn't make it to the concert, then this is definitely something we're gonna do. About this. I like to try to keep my word to my friends. That's why I'm a conscientious person like that. Can't nobody ever say
well,
I really let them down.
you've been doing big things, man. We'll talk about what you've been doing in a little bit. Um, so you went to the NFL, NFC Championship game?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I seen Journey. I was
Uh,
standing, got a chance to sing "Don't Stop Believing" right with Journey.
what is the singer's name? That ain't Getty. That's Rush. What is Journey
They had a
singer's name?
different lead singer than the
Oh,
original guy
okay, I got you.
at the
Um,
game. It was a different lead singer because I was like, hold on, this guy looked like young and fresh to be in this group. He was around my age.
I seen um first time I seen Tool was Ozfest '98 and Lollapalooza '99. I might have that backwards on
GL
which one
Schmidt,
was
what
'98
up?
and '99. I was here. Well, man, that's my partner. That is OGL.
Okay, okay.
I told you he was gonna get Link on here, bro. I done turned his comments on, or helped him turn his comments on, and
Yeah, you can go on comment on my pictures and my posts
yeah,
on YouTube now. I'm alive now.
alive and breathing, right?
You know?
So Greg is was primarily all '80s, so that's why it's great because most stuff he listened to, I could react to, and he knows it, and like he had never listened to like outlaw country, which by the way, uh, Link knows all about Muscle Shoals, Greg.
Yeah, yeah.
The man,
I'm
when you was
born and
born in
raised in
Alabama,
Alabama.
right?
Yep. Born in Jasper, Alabama.
So
Had my
as soon as
first
I
job
started
in
trying to
Birmingham.
explain it to him, he's like, "Man, I already know, man."
Yeah.
Percy
I
Sledge and
done
Aretha
lived literally
Franklin,
coast
and
to coast.
And Skinner and all these bands made all this great music in the same little studio. That's great.
Yeah. I
Love
think
that.
Descending. I always say Descending is like a new version of Freebird.
Okay,
Half
Greg says
song, half rock.
Arneal Pini.
Panita.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you.
that's
Return
there. That was
singer,
that's
yeah.
the original guy. So the one that I seen, he was it's like a younger Asian guy, like vibrant and stuff. They was lip singing, of course, at the game. But I was like, man,
Yeah.
they don't look like the original man. Still,
What is the original singer's name, Greg?
that's him.
He'll tell me in a minute.
It's the current. Okay, that's Arnell Panita. Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah,
you'll click on the comments over there, link, you'll be able to see all these.
yeah. I'm seeing it on my
Gotcha.
phone over here.
Um. So
But yeah, I know when I
what?
came back from that game, I went and looked it up, and I just looked at a video and was like, okay, I knew it was a different person, but I didn't look up the name.
I'm gonna mute it so we don't copyright here. But wow, man, look at that.
Yeah, so we sat right
That's
up there in the
Joe Montana, right? Hold up.
right. Yeah, he was speaking. That was the game that took him to the Super Bowl. Then we went to the Super Bowl.
Man, that's so cool. Yeah, I know Denver finally made the playoffs, and then y'all kicked us out again. Steve Perry is the original singer.
Yeah, that's right. Uncle Steve Perry.
Steve Perry, yep.
Yeah.
So OGL Link is now another admin of the channel. So we will be doing lots more of these collaborations.
Yeah, I'll make it around when I'm not busy. I'll get my way around here. Now that was fucking
Trying to get your
epic
damn logo off my head. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, man. I mean, I've never been to a football game. I've been to like all kinds of NASCAR races and concerts, but I've never been to a football game. Now I worked concessions to the college football game that was in the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Okay.
I can comment now.
Yeah, yeah. We was at the Super Bowl the week after that because the boss had promised his daughter he was gonna take her to the Super Bowl all her life, and then we went to this game just in case they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, and they ended up making it to the Super Bowl, so we ended up having to go to the Super Bowl. So that's how I ended up being stuck and trapped and kicking it in Vegas for 2 weeks.
So you went to the Super Bowl and the championship game.
Yeah.
I got it muted. I'm gonna play you Metallica.
Well, my boss and his daughter went into the game. I went to the bar on the corner at the game until they came out. But yeah, it was still out there. I still was in Vegas for 2 weeks for that.
All right, Greg. Go back to work, man. Much love, man. Be good. Pop back
all right,
in.
all right. Glad to come through, bro. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you go. So, man, Metallica's always got that like egg shape
Right.
or
the center with the little center pit.
Yeah.
So I end up catching a pick
I
right off
did
my
see
chest.
Metallica. That's when I seen Jerry Cottrell. You got a pick off your chest for real?
Yeah, fucking James Hetfield hit me dead in the chest with a pick. I caught it. I gave it to my date. All right.
Here you go. So you gave her if you took a picture of
I gave her a pick because she drove all the way from Kansas City to come to the concert, in St. Louis and hang out with me. Because I got the tickets like the day of the concert. My buddy had called me up and was like, hey, I got tickets, saying to Metallica, you find somebody to go. So the first day I went, like there was a 2-day show. The first day I went, I just went down there, couldn't think of nobody to go. And so I end up just running into this kid standing outside the venue. I was getting ready to go in after I called, like, somebody want to come to the concert with me? Nobody. Saw this guy standing out there. I was like, got extra ticket, got extra ticket, got extra ticket. I was like, I actually do. Come on in. So that's the first day. So the second day, when I posted on Facebook that I went, this chick from Kansas City was like, I'd have came out there for you. I was like, well, I'm going back tomorrow. So she drove down and went to the concert with me the next day. And we ended up right there at the pit.
Because of my breathing and my oxygen shit, I can't go to that many concerts anymore, especially not in the lawn. But I told you when Greg came here in January for my birthday, the 21st at Charlotte, which by the way is the first time I've ever seen Tool in my
in your
state.
town. I know that was epic.
Yeah,
Man, you got to tell me
yeah. I
about
mean,
that.
it was. I mean, I got the footage and stuff. I'll play it here in a little bit, but
Okay.
um, I love the story though, man, because you know I come from the opposite. You know, like a biker. Really, it ain't really that much different. They're both gangs. They both work the same
Yeah.
way, really.
It's both the streets, both the
And on the
underworld.
highest level, right? On the highest level, the high-ranking members of the gangs work with the biker gangs, you know, and
Hmm.
sometimes the mob stuff. But I mean, or that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm just I'm saying it's works kind of the same way. But you know, like you got introduced into this culture, I got introduced into the hip hop culture, and that's why I do some
Yeah.
of that on my channel now. Cause I mean, I love Drake, man. I just play Greg like enemies and all me and you know Future and
Yeah.
introduce watch that little bitch. Yeah, with the big hands on it. That damn video, man. That video is so funny, man. And I played him only with Nicki and Chris and Drake and Lil Wayne.
Right.
I love that video too, and so I guess you can't react to them, but
Yeah.
yeah, he loved it, man,
I'll see.
and
Love to see
he
him.
wasn't a big fan of Maynard. He liked the tool and he liked the instrumentation, but he didn't like the way Maynard's voice is so hushed. Not pardon the pun,
Yeah.
but and you know under the because he was used to Bruce Dickinson and you know the '80s when he
Walker's
belt for
voices.
30 years. Yeah, I mean like you know.
Yeah.
I mean, much love to Bruce Dickinson. I ain't putting him down because I like Iron Maiden, but I really like the Paolo. What's up, man? Paolo from the Charismatic Voice in the house.
What up? What up?
Love you, brother. Yeah, Paolo sent me
Welcome.
a
Welcome.
little Mustang from the Philippines, man. I got it over there. I can't. My butt's hanging out, man, so I can't stand up. Um,
We don't need that on
what
the
time
channel.
is it? I know, not at all. No. What time? What time is it? Where you at, Paolo? It's 1:06 a.m. for me. What time? You in L.A. Link? What time
It's
is it
10.
for
It's
you?
10 o'clock here.
10 o'clock.
It's 10 o'clock out here.
I'm gonna guess Paolo's in the a.m. Somewhere.
Yeah, y'all in the future.
1 p.m. Okay. Cool deal, man. That's beautiful how we connect all around the world. I
Oh
met
yeah.
Paolo on the Charismatic Voice. He's well, we'll just say he's close with the Charismatic Voice. So I love that guy, man. Probably sent. I'd be scared to ask how much money he spent to send me that little card. It looked like Judith because you know my card's name's Judith.
Mm,
So
that's real
and
dope.
Kirk, the husband of Elizabeth, is Tool Army. You know, he don't really holler it to the world because he's got to you know be uh, um, what you call it diverse. You know, because can't scream about Tool all the time when you got a channel with all different kind of artists. Like I try not to either, but that's why Greg's got this thing I made when I tool out. He blocks me. Hey man, you're tooling.
Your
Quit,
tooling,
Danny.
your tool is showing.
Oh man, nah, Palo, you one of my favorite people, man, for real. Thank you
Hey,
for coming, man.
right on.
I
Thanks for being here.
I
So this is
named
my
the car
first time
Lilith.
out.
So you how ironic is it you end up in L.A. at being to Army?
I know. It's like right here. It's like right here where. And here's the funny thing: coming from living in the Midwest, living in Kentucky and Texas and St. Louis, Illinois, and all over the East Coast, or wherever I done been, it's like I don't get approached with a Tool shirt on. You know what I'm saying? But out here, every time I put a Tool shirt on and go to the store somewhere, somebody be like, "Hey, like this shirt?" You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I
It
ride
makes
around
more
in a
sense
bright red
out here,
Mustang with Tool in the back window and a Bible Belt in the
right?
South.
You know, and I'm out here. I was riding around in St. Louis, and I got Numa on my front windshield. You know what
I
I'm saying?
know. I
Tool,
love your car, man. I
perfect
love your
fit.
headrest too.
Yeah, I had those
Ca-
airbrushed in Columbus, Ohio.
Under
So
the
yeah.
Ohio Sky, man. I love Jimmy, man. That's one of my favorite songs.
Oh
It
yeah.
took me a long time to understand what that meant. The one, that's why I got that up there. Hold on, I got the banner, I think. The 1 and 1 or 1-11. I love that, man. It's one of my favorite lines there. Yeah, look up the creator up there. 1 and 1 or 1-11.
That's dope.
I
Yeah,
love,
man, Tool really changed my life. But I mean, I was already a part of the rock and music culture
yeah,
anyway. Being a music producer, being a music connoisseur, being, I know a lot of music. But Tool just kind of said, "Come on home. Here's your tribe. Here's your people. Here's where you belong." And I'm stuck here. This is my life.
man. It's it's a beautiful thing. Even there are a group of, and one thing about my last name being Logan, if you take one L out and put Tool and Logan together, what do you get?
Tool again.
Tooligan. I love that and I hate that. You know what I'm saying? I struggled and wrestled with keeping the OGT on on the end of my channel name.
Yeah.
Coast Career OGT. I even used to tell people it meant one great time or old guy twerking or one only good or one good only giant boobies with a T.
Oh,
All kinds of things I come up with. But
but it's dope to keep it on
I
there because even the logo
stuck
it
with it,
gives it a
man.
look.
Yeah, I mean, and we've done lots of Tool reactions, but I think because they see me with the Tool tattoos and everything, I probably was cut off too. As soon as I said, I'm like, man, they fake, But
Hmm.
Greg's the one reacting. I'm not. I don't influence his reactions. You know what I'm saying? We stick by that wholeheartedly. If I've heard something, I'm not going to react to it like I haven't heard it.
Right,
And I
right, right.
think in the reaction channel community, it's pretty easy to see through the bad apples, if you will, the rotten apples, to quote Lane. So that's why the charismatic voice, that she's so genuine. She was off singing opera her whole life, so people were like, "How she never heard Led Zeppelin and Styx or
Man.
Alice in Chains?" But she really hadn't. So, and she sung in like I think 17 different languages on almost every continent. Sung one of the headlines of Carnegie Hall. So she understands music better than most people. So to hear her break, like she taught me that in 46 and 2,
Right.
Maynard uses shadow vowels. Like
Okay, so that's a deep thing.
no doubt, right? I mean, so
You know
and I
about
love Austin
Carl Young?
Vegas, and yeah, Young, yeah, that's I love Young, man, Jung, or how they say it.
Yeah,
The whole concept of the shadow, and Alan Watts. You ever heard of Alan Watts?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love Alan Watts, man. I love
I like to
and I
talk
think
about this shadow concepts and the theory of evolution to get to 46 and 2. You know,
yeah, because I think the hominids before us, like cave people, basically had 42 and 2
yeah, yeah,
chromosomes,
yeah. They would have there
and
was
we
the
now have
44,
44 and 2.
there was 44 chromosomes to, and we evolved from that. Like the Neanderthal, we used to have like these teeth here used to be long canines. We had bigger
Hmm.
tongues, we had longer face. And it was like small inventions, like the invention of fire. It shows the human evolution of the brain. Our DNA was different. That started off those extra 2 chromosomes to start sprouting in the different directions because, like, we created fire. We instantly knew to take the raw meat that we was eating and bang it up against the rock to tenderize it, and then take it and
Yeah,
hold it over the fire. And now we eating it, and that's why these teeth shrunk. Our tongues shrunk back into our heads, and then speech became more of a ooh was able to make sounds and communicate. Communication gave way to community. Community gave way, to more evolution and growth, and that's how it started right there because we jumped into a 46 chromosome, evolved being, which is a conscious state, that we know how to create, we know how to destroy, we know what's good, what's bad, what's left, what's right. We can take this collective consciousness and just keep adding to it to get to 46. But my concept here is drawing in from looking at the elements and other species around us. Like you look at the way fish move. You
They're
can see
much more in
fish.
tune with nature than we are.
Yeah, every other
We kind of have
species works
amnesia.
together. We do it on purpose because, like, you look at how fish in the sea, you can drop a rock between the fish, they whoops and right back together, swimming with the currents. You know what I'm saying? And going, they all have the same mission in mind. Every species say we hungry, we going to eat. We running from a predator, we running from a predator. You know what I'm saying? We hiding because it's dark. They know what they all doing at the same time. You look at birds in the sky. Birds are flying that V formation, and it's not because the guys up front is the leader. It's because they looking at they know that V wing formation is how you ride the current of wind, and they all working as one wing to fly to the same destination. But you look at how
They're
people
in
move.
tune with it. They
Yeah,
understand it. And they'll deviate from their normal patterns if there's a storm that's
yep,
there before we can even predict it with technology.
yeah. And they don't have
They
to
know
tell
it's
each other.
coming.
They all know it together. They
No.
all feel the danger at the same time. Ain't nobody saying, "Man, fuck that, I'm staying over here." They all move as a single species and unit. And people, we tend to think that we are
Pepe, what's up, man? Shout
what up,
out. Love you,
Pepe?
bro.
We tend to
That's
think that we are on planets as humans, and we all move in different directions. You can look outside and look at traffic, and everybody's going somewhere different. We're not headed to the same places, and it won't be until we realize that you can take this much skin and squeeze it, and there's like 1,000 million cells right there. Each one of those cells can create and regenerate and think for themselves. We just too stupid to know that right now because we too worried about the shit that we looking at. Until we realize that we are a species of humans, a humankind is a species, and we start working together, then we'll start actually being able to communicate telepathically. We'll be able to understand on those levels.
I think that's what they call getting
And that's where the
shedding the
extra
ego and
laws
getting rid of the self. Like
shit. Yep.
there is
Shit
no
is
you, there is no me, there just is.
and shedding
And
that shadows, doing that shadow work.
yeah, yeah, it's very important because but the more clarity I gain, the more clouded my relationships get with people who, you know, I don't want to talk bad about them, but are still narcissistic or can't see things from any point of view other than theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
And and some people aren't bad for that. It's just that they're not aware of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've been programmed by well, like we update everything, right? We update the codes and buildings. We update phone. We update, but we don't update the four major institutions that teach us everything: the educational, the pharmaceutical, the political, and the religious. We don't update none of
Exactly.
them. We just and I that's I think
We
they
turned
all
that off
need
on purpose,
yeah.
to
And
try to think that we are in charge, and we not. That's how so many humans get lost, thinking that we
the
got it.
the human timeline will show you every one of these structures, the pyramids and the Mayan temples and all that. We have never been able to replicate it, and we've tried. We get worse and worse at it. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's because, uh, like you said, we were more connected back then, and we had clairvoyance, and we could move things, and things that seem impossible now were easy for them
Yep.
because, like I always use the example: if you're, like, say you're at that concert, you're at a
Right.
concert, and you make eye contact with somebody all the way across the damn thing when the lights come on at the intermission, and you both know you're looking at each other, but there's 10,000 people in between you. But for that second, you knew you were looking at that person, and
Right.
to me, we are connected because that shouldn't be. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be able to pick. I mean, I might pick that person up. They shouldn't be able to know I'm looking at them with 10,000 people in between us.
And then somehow,
So,
some kind of way, you subliminally remember that because it was meant for you and that person. That was like that was just destiny, which goes
yeah,
into back to the 46 and 2 because we are the masters of our own destiny. It's just like riding the spiral. The spiral is your natural course of destiny in life, and you can feel when
Your
you off your spiral. You
your
know.
channel logo is that, ain't it? The
Yep.
pan right
So
there. Yeah,
yep, there it is.
delicious.
I believe a lot into the spiral because it's like in our DNA, like in on our fingertips. You know, like the solar system. You know, like when plants are come up and they spring from a spiral. Like when we come from embryos and we spiral out into a human. We always ride the spiral. The solar system is in a spiral, so it's got to be to me the natural procession of life. If you realize that you ride in a spiral, say like both of us come from the underworld. You know, back in the day, somebody say, "Hey man, come jump in the car with me," or just jump on the bikes and let's go here. And you get this feeling like,
That's that
mm.
gut feeling, man. That's
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 it.
what I believe is
That's
the language of the divine.
it is. I like to
I know.
call it. I like to call it God sense or
That's
good
man.
sense.
Yes,
Because when
there you
you
go,
in your
man.
first mind, you'll go your gut feeling. I love to go with my gut feeling because that's the part that's telling you you already know better. It's that point when we say, "No, I know your plate's bad. I know you got weed and gun in the car. I know you want it for
Mm.
out here on these streets by them other guys, but you said it was gonna be some bitches. Let's go." And then you get there,
Call,
and then you get flagged by the police. You get all this shit happen to you, and the first thing you say is, "I knew it." The "I knew it" moments is when
I
you chose to
told
override
dude.
your good sense.
Yep, that's
So now you have a new course of destiny.
and you said you made your own. People say that's bull crap. We can't make our own reality. Well, everything that has ever been created on this earth, other than the creation of the earth, anything man has ever created was once a thought in somebody's
Yeah,
head. It
manifest
was an
destiny. It
idea,
just manifested.
and so to say that we can't create our own reality is kind of insane because everything that's ever been created, this computer was a thought in somebody's head at one time.
Mm-hmm.
A remote control damn air conditioning, which I don't have. I wish I did.
And I've said
But
before, like being into psychedelics, a lot, and you go on these mental journeys with psychedelics, and I think back, like a lot of times, you can go back to your childhood, and like I said, how my story of Tool came to be, my friend singing Three Little Pigs, and all the way out here to being, a spokesman with Tool, knowing damn near every Tool fan around the world and stuff. Like that was almost did I go back in time and plant breadcrumbs to myself, or did I just manifest my destiny to be out here? Everybody, at least in America or around the world, thinks at one point, man, go to California. Oh, I want to see LA. I I was no different being a kid from Alabama. Say, I wonder what LA and I want to go to Hollywood. And then when these things happen, just like it did last week, or it's just like, well, I kind of wanted it to happen. I didn't see it no other way. This is what I manifested to my area.
yeah, and I mean, it's like you almost can sense things, and about that gut feeling though, you're right. It rarely ever tells you to do something wrong. Like
Uh-huh.
when you do the right thing, you listen to your instinct or your intuition. Your gut usually don't say, "Nah, man, go jump in that car with homeboy with all the guns and shit. Go get that girl."
Yeah, cause you're gonna know it. You're gonna
So
know it soon as they say it. You tell your good sense tell you, yeah, man. But then it's when you chose to say, fuck that, it's gonna be all right. That's when you chose to say, you know what, I got this. And then you just like, okay, God sit back and say,
and,
okay, get it.
and language, skin color, geography, none of that
Mm-hmm.
matters when it comes to that gut feeling because everybody's got that.
Yeah.
Timelines, even chromosomes, nothing gets in the way of that gut. Well, I don't know. I'm assuming they did, or that we wouldn't be what we are now.
No.
Bill Hicks has a good bit about the apes eating the mushrooms and that's what made them. And even Joe Rogan has talked about the burning bush in the Bible being the acacia bush.
Yeah.
They were smoking DMT, and
I was just gonna say. I
that's
was
how
just
they
gonna say. So,
communicated
have
with
you ever had
God.
DMT? Have you ever tried DMT?
I, I actually have, yes. I mean,
I've
I
got
didn't have as
some.
much as that. I didn't go through the door, but I knocked on it. If that makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna tell
I
you, I
mean,
have been deep, deep off on. I got dropped off over there for a minute.
I I just didn't. I tried to save a little bit for the next day,
Mm-hmm.
and I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? I done it by myself, and I don't. I'm not recommending that, but I mean, I was in a very good place in my life through Tool and through everything Tool. You know, people always say that, well, man, they're just the band, the music. It ain't just about that.
Mm-mm.
It's about the principles they sing about and how they never directly reference anything,
Yep.
but they talk about things that make you think. And because I've had say the
You're
song
right.
Bottom. The song Bottom meant something different to me in the
That was my
'90s than it
favorite.
does. Jeannie
Hmm.
Styles, what's up, girl?
That's
Welcome
my
to
that's my
the.
baby there. Hi, honey.
Oh, well, yeah, good deal.
I just invited her in. We in here.
Cool deal. I love it, man. I
But
love we're connecting right now. We're connecting people through, through Tool kind of, but
yeah, I mean, this
I
is
mean,
like even her. I can even tell the story about how we met. We met through Tool. She was traveling across the country, following the band at the beginning of the tour. I met her in the Facebook groups. We started getting closer and cooler. Keeping in contact till we started meeting up at concerts and hanging out. And you know, it's a
that's, I
good
mean,
thing.
that's
Meet the
how, I
best,
mean,
beautiful people
I've
this
always
way.
said that music, there's a string theory, right? Like Sheldon on that was like, what was that damn show? The Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang, yeah.
Well, his field was lapped upon by whatever. Man, you went to school. I didn't. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. But the
I mean,
string theory.
people laughed at people that said they saw aliens until just last year the government said, "Yeah, okay, we've been fucking with y'all.
Yeah,
They out there."
yeah. Well, we got some over here in a hangar. like,
Right.
so I mean, yeah. I and it's possible that they are us from the future that have way more chromosomes than 46 and two.
Exactly.
And the two is the male and female, and a lot of people see that seven
That's why it's
point
not
star
48.
that two always have, and they think it has something to do with like the Satan or the pentagram or something.
Yeah.
It is the divine male and female. When that 7 point star, when the single point's up and the 2 points are down, that's the male. Which one side of your brain hemisphere is male, one side is
Yeah.
female. This is
Hmm.
why Maynard talks about getting in touch with his
Which is our
female side
DNA.
all the time.
You got X and Y
Yep.
chromosomes.
That's right, because there are a such thing as a hermaphrodite, which has both and
Hmm.
born with both sexual parts.
Yep.
I think I'm saying that right, hermaphrodite.
Yeah.
But and the when you turn that star upside down, which every tool show it does it slowly.
Hmm.
When the 2 points are up, like that's the female, And I think the original meaning of the Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the child.
Hmm.
That's just my opinion, but it makes a lot more
It makes
sense.
sense. I can
I
see that.
mean,
I mean, and when you're in the
um,
spiritual realm, you can kind of like get your own interpretation, opposed to a Bible from a religion or a book or a Quran or something that say here are the rules and don't step outside the box. No, I can't do that. I was born in a box.
I think they all have great interpretations of the same story
Yep.
because really all the religions are kind of saying the same thing. This
Hmm.
no, this is like if that what's that game where you whisper a sentence in somebody's ear and by the time it gets around the room it's something
Telephone.
totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean same thing, just like languages and get misinterpreted and communication. That's why you have to hire an interpreter when you go somewhere because you want to, and even all these apps. Like I can mess up AI with Tool. I asked
Hmm.
AI who was the last person, the last band, rock and roll band, to be #1 worldwide. And thank you for being here, Peppy. Shout out to the warning. I'm gonna turn link on here to the warning. The three
Yeah, we was
sisters
talking
I
about
told you
that.
about that did the Metallica cover.
Yeah.
A great band, man. He's my warning guru. So OGL just put a bunch of spirals. I put that everywhere I go, every Discord I'm in. Not that people ask, "What is that little blue circle?" He's always putting. Thank you for being here, Pepe. He's in my Discord as well, so I appreciate you being there, my friend. I appreciate what you do.
Right on, right on.
Ride the spiral.
Right, them spirals.
Um, now I think OGL loves Maynard's vocals, so he understands why. Because you can hear him really loud in concert. See you, bumper him. You could hear him really loud in concert, and sometimes you
That's what
can't.
got me
But
though was his vocals.
it was me too.
Yeah,
But I
like when I
mean,
said I heard
when
them
I met
songs.
when I found Tool, there wasn't nothing but opiate. So
Oh yeah, you was at the very beginning.
93. I mean, I'm not an OGT from 92 like some says. It was 93, but so I heard Sober for the first time on the radio, and it didn't resonate. I mean, it was like it was just another good song at the time.
Yeah.
But I was at a party where psychedelics were being used, and Slayer and Pantera and all these really hard bands they were playing. And then all of a sudden, people were conversating in the background. I heard, Jesus Christ, why don't you come save my life? And I stopped. I'm like, guys, is this gospel music? What are we listening to? Is this like heavy metal gospel? They're like, nah, man. Like, call me right
This
after
shit's
Slayer and Pantera.
blasphemous.
You're wondering, why are y'all playing gospel?
Like, listen closer.
The
It's
last guys are
blasphemous
just
as
talking about
fuck.
the devil. Which, by the way, Maynard never says the word devil in any Tool song but Jambi.
Right.
I mean, so I personally don't believe in the devil. I believe in an ominous creator that created everything, including evil and good.
Yeah.
Because if there wasn't evil, how would we understand good? It'd be
There's a
like
balance.
watching a damn show on TV where nothing ever happened, but everything went perfect all the time. Everybody's, I mean, without drama or something bad happens, there is no plot to any movie. I mean,
Yeah.
every movie something's got a, even Hallmark, some
Like
bad happens in those movies.
even to force yourself, your being to want and to strive to be motivated or inspired to do good or want good, it has to have a contrast of what you
Has
don't
to
want.
be better, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't want
With
this
the
or I want
robots,
this. Yeah.
without evil or sin or whatever you want to label it, we would be emotionless
Yeah,
because you can't have one without the other.
exactly. That's dope.
I mean,
That is dope.
there's your balance.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, a tree, for instance, a seed will not sprout in the light.
Right.
You have to like put it in the dark,
Yep.
either dirt or a washer rag or something, and then it sprouts. It finds its way to the light through friction, through growth, through
And then it reaches
evolving,
for the light. You know,
and then
it
it finds the
relaxes
light,
in the dark.
and it goes as far as it can and reaches up to the light, and it sprouts. But it never takes its roots out of the dark.
Hmm.
So if you take the tree of life, I got my little toolbox here. It's literally a toolbox.
Yeah.
But if you take the tree of life and you turn it upside down and pretend that's our brain, there's your spine and there's all of our circulatory system, everything that makes us who we are. We are inverted trees.
Yep.
This is not my own. Like the light is
Hmm.
not like that song, but the light is not my own.
Yep.
It's a reflection of the sun.
Yeah.
But it's a concept
Back to
that
reflection references.
exactly. No, I the song H. A lot of people think that's about heroin, but that's about being human.
Hmm.
And Maynard they all had kids because of the lawsuit after Undertow, and Maynard's son's middle name is just H. It's
So
just H.
we had a actually me and Jenny was talking the other day, and this was something that was interesting. I watched a thing about the song "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Blue Oyster Cult, yeah.
Yeah, so like I love that song, and I was just something just made me just look up the other day, like the background, the meaning to it, because it's like the song can't be as dark as I think it is, you know. And the video that I looked up gave a reference because most people think it's like about a suicide pact or or death, but the lyrics in the song kind of implied it like the sun and the rain and the trees, the elements, the natural things, they don't fear the reaper, you know, and
Don't
just
fear
like
the reaper
Romeo and
because
Juliet, said they became like them, saying, and we can become like them. It's not that we can become dead, it's like we can become fearless of the reaper because it's a procession of the natural system. It's the circle and cycle of life.
I mean a leaf might fall off a tree and die, but it still falls
Hmm.
to the ground, turns
And
into dust, and
yep,
goes back
gives
into the
back.
ground and grows back into something else.
And so do we.
So it's a never-ending cycle of life.
Hmm.
Time, in a way, doesn't exist,
Yeah.
and neither does tomorrow or the past. Have you ever been to tomorrow?
No.
I don't think anyone's ever been to. Now I've passed out drunk or something and woke up and it was the next day,
Right.
but it wasn't tomorrow. It was still today. In fact, I've never been anywhere but now. I can have memories of things I've done. I can think about something I might do, but every point in my life when I was living it, it was now.
And you really, I've thought about this before, like you really can't put a fine line just at midnight, what I'm saying, that it's another day, because like just because it got dark, that don't mean I'm not thinking and trying to accomplish the same shit I was trying to accomplish 16 hours ago. I'm still on the
Right.
same shit. It's still today to me in that aspect. It just
You
got
can
dark. I had to go to sleep
you
and I woke back up on the same shit.
that's I heard a representation of that one time, like the the fight between good and evil, or the devil and God, whatever you want to say,
Hmm.
is like um, God's sun comes up every day and defeats the dark, and every night the dark
That was the
defeats the
story of
light.
Horus and Set from the
Yeah,
Egyptian, from the
exactly. Yeah,
hieroglyph.
exactly.
That's that's
That's
that's
right.
the that's the origins of Christianity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean it's on our dollar bill.
Yeah.
So, I mean we're worldwide here. It's on everybody's dollar bill, but I think everybody's pretty familiar with
And I kind of
that imagery. Which, if
the,
you put a
the
human brain beside that eye of horse,
the Eye of Horus is like
they're
the,
almost exactly alike.
yep.
I can
So
pull
that's
it
the
up.
reference we got that from, which is strange you bring it up because it goes back to my DMT trip. You know, the DMT trip about a lot of people, and I'm not no different. A lot of people have said that we have Egyptian references, under
They're
DMT.
everywhere.
Yeah, so like I specifically
The
remember,
Washington Monument is an obelisk.
yeah, I remember seeing the pyramids and like a connection to Orion's belt and all kind of things under a good DMT trip. That's like for another time on real
Right
psychedelic
there.
talk.
Can you see that? Oh,
Hmm.
hold on. Let me add to the stage.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
right
That's
there,
that's it. The pineal
the
gland.
brain. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, and the one emits the cloud the pineal gland and the let me get this right. I think it's the pituitary gland in the
Hmm.
brain. One emits DMT, which is a honey-like substance, and the other emits melatonin, which is a milky substance, the
Hmm.
milk and the honey.
Hmm.
So a lot of the themes in the Bible and in other the chakras, everything they really all light up if you think about it, because like I've always thought this wrench is a representation of your hips, your libido,
Hmm.
your body, and the wrench holds
The
your
baseline
head,
and
which is
yeah,
the heaving up place. And there's 33 vertebrae in your spine, which
right.
is the same amount of Freemasonry, which is the same day years of Jesus' life. 33 is such a powerful number,
Hmm.
and that just happens to be how many vertebrae we have in our spine. And Maynard has the only tattoo he used to have is a spine
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
tattooed on his back. Yeah,
Uh,
and that's the only tattoo you don't really reference. I
yeah,
think that's
he
purposeful.
recently got that on his arm,
Yeah,
the big
big
caterpillar or whatever.
centipede.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool tat. Um,
So
I love that
Yeah,
guy. I mean, he's my
the
hero.
DMT reference is like, okay, so here's what I'm gonna tell you how I
No
went
jail,
deep.
sacred secret.
Sacred secrets, yeah, yeah. Look, this
Hmm.
is some real shit. So like, I got this image of Egypt under a DMT trip. Like really clearly seen it in its heyday. Like I was really there. But skip through all the visuals I seen. The concept that I got, that there was something coming down to those pyramids, teaching humans agriculture and community, and how to build and create. And those pyramids was some kind of conductor, some kind of antenna, you know. And at some point, I
Well,
feel like the humans said, fuck that. We tired of them coming down here teaching us. We know enough. We got it from here. And probably destroyed the connection for them, the power of those pyramids to having extra or more intelligent beings coming down here to teach. And I think that's where we got cut off, because we cut off what we call the gods and started saying, okay, worship me and this, and I'll take on. And they left the power within me to create and come. And then right there, we just been kind of lost. Because that's why I asked Danny Carey, who created the pyramids. I asked the same thing to Flavor Flav, you know, and it's a big question, because who actually built the pyramids, and why can't we recreate that shit right now? Why haven't we recreated anything like that? You know,
I
buildings and
think it's
skyscrapers
because
fall; those pyramids ain't going nowhere.
that's right. That's right. And and just like I think the pyramids were made for sound resonance,
Mhm.
and they were no different than they have kind of proved that what's the in the England the oh man the circle with the stones
The
of
sto-
Stonehenge,
Stonehenge, yeah.
and yeah, all these have acoustic qualities.
Hmm.
And there are I could pull up a video about how they have metal plates now, and they can put like salt or something or liquid or anything, and
Hmm.
every tone certain everything's just going every which way till you hit certain tones. And every
Hmm.
tone will make like a snowflake, a geometric shape, and
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah.
I'm looking for it
Sound,
now.
yeah, vibration, yeah. Yeah, I seen that with vibration with salt and yeah. But here's the thing. Man has done everything to recreate shit from the past. We done dug up everything. If you keep giving me these theories, I'm talking about man and National Geographic and Discovery Channel. If y'all keep giving me these theories on what y'all think how the pyramids was created without actually getting the fuck out there in the desert and doing it, I'm gonna still keep believing somebody else did it.
Right.
Because I haven't seen man take a construction crew or a bunch of Hebrew slaves or a bunch of people in loincloth and try to recreate the conditions that they telling us that it happened under.
No, I mean all of the ancient structures, like even the Roman pantheon or whatever, it has a structure underneath of it that used to be something more, and
Mm-hmm.
we built over top of that, and I think many structures have been tore down and tried to been rebuilt, and I think that's why the Library of Alexandria or whatever was tore down and destroyed
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of sacred knowledge. I mean that right there is crazy. I mean how those experiments work.
Yeah, that
I
is
mean
with that
how
salt.
does that like do that? I mean, and the radio stations, how they changed the frequency of how classical composers used to compose music.
Mm-hmm.
400 and man, I'm probably gonna get this wrong. 462 hertz. The Tool Army will kill me, man, because they talk about that all
Mm-hmm.
the time. But let me find another snowflake video here. I pulled up sound experiments with snowflakes.
Yeah, I used to watch stuff like that. Like that is really, I mean, it's a natural balance. It gives you, like when you on a psychedelic trip. Like I refer a lot of things now to psychedelics because I done been deep in on that other side. But these are the things you see. in psychedelic trances. It's almost like,
and they're legal where you are. To be clear, YouTube,
yeah,
they are
yeah.
legal.
I mean, we sell them. You know, like that's the industry I work in.
440 is what, yeah, that's where they put the radio stations now. When the radio was first invented, and it's actually supposed to be 446, or I'm a little off on that. I don't need to reference something. I'm not sure the exact number, but they changed the radio stations. So, and there's no resonance at certain hertz, yeah. But when you put it at the right one, you can literally levitate things. You can make water
Yeah, exactly.
into certain patterns. And look at that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not fake. I mean, this is science. I mean, this is
Now this is what I keep
440
saying.
hertz.
They said the pyramids was done with some kind of levitation and sound. Well, fucking do it and show me.
Well, I don't think one person can. I think it takes many people to activate that part of our brain that has grown dormant.
And I don't. And
A lot of Tool lyrics point to this. The Become Pneuma, there's a pneumogastric vein in your brain, and there's another one, and they cross in the crux of your head. And Christ is Christos in Greek. I want to watch that real quick because I don't want to get this information wrong, because it's very interesting. All anyone's got to do is Sacred Secret. And you can pull up a million videos talking about it, but I like this one in particular.
that is interesting.
Yeah, working class hero. Welcome.
Working
Your
class
thanks off
hero
from us
is something to
on
be.
American Freedom Radio. And it's great to be back. Today I'm going to be talking for the first hour about certain things, and then on the second hour I want to discuss some of the new things about astrotheology that also need to get out. Probably the most urgent and powerful knowledge that has been kept from humanity for thousands of years, and is very, very important, very powerful, deep things to share with listeners who are ready. And if you're around and listening, well, that would be because you are ready. I do research, and then I share that research, well connected, well researched, with humanity and the enlightened portion of humanity, because my information does not reach unconscious people. They turn it off after 5 minutes. In fact, they just cannot stand the information that I have. Some people can't handle the truth. They just can't handle it, and I know that.
The truth hurts. I mean, it's a cliche.
The truth movement is being infiltrated by a lot of creepy entities, people. And these creepy entities are sort of these types that have to get their information from unusual sources because they don't do any research themselves. So they have to empty their own bodies and be mediums for astral entities, some of which are very, very dangerous. Now, these type of mediums, there's 1,000 of these mediums to one clairvoyant. A clairvoyant is one who has completed the process, which I am going to explain in the next hour, and has the right to see and the right to know because they've earned it and they've arrived to the point.
I've got a shorter one. I'm sorry.
Okay, and you know, you can't unsee that shit. You can't unknow it. You just like once you cross, I know exactly what you're talking about. Once you cross over into that realm of knowledge, yeah, there's certain people that just.
Do you know about alchemical sexual alchemy? There's 33 vertebrates in your spine. There's 33 years in the life of Jesus Christ. So this substance comes from your medulla, makes the trip down your spine to your sacrum, which is Christ coming down into human form. Yeah. And if you don't squander that essence, that sexual essence, it ascends again and goes back up to heaven, which is your thing. It's also the story of Santa Claus. Why he comes down the chimney is because this juice or this whatever substance actually passes what's called the claustrum, which is where they got Santa Claus. So it goes down the chimney and back up the chimney.
Holy shit.
It's deep.
Right.
In the brain,
Basically saying
in
Santa
the,
Claus come from your imagination.
cranium, there is the cerebrum. And in the cerebrum, and in particular the claustrum is sitting right there in the middle of the head, virtually. From the claustrum, there is a secretion, brain fluid. And this fluid is an oil. And in ancient times, this fluid was called, in Greek, it's called Christos. It's called the Christ.
I researched
It's
all
this beautiful fluid which comes from the cerebrum and pours down the spinal cord. It goes down the spinal cord and it reaches the sacral plexus.
Your solar plexus.
Right next door to the sacrum, which are the 5 second bottommost
At the bottom,
fused
where the shit heads up.
vertebrae bones at the bottom of the spinal column. The bottommost portion of the spinal column is called the coccyx. Then just above that is the sacrum.
That's your
5
base chakra.
fused bones. So the sacral plexus is connected to the sacrum. And the fluid which comes from the cerebrum pours down the spinal cord and comes to the bottommost part of the spinal cord. Now, the claustrum is
That's the
otherwise
stomach
known as the
chakra.
holy claustrum, simply
Yes.
because of this beautiful oil, this Christos, that is produced and secreted. You see, the word secret comes from secretion, because this secretion is a secret. And the sacrum is the sacred part of the secret. As the secretion pours down the spinal cord and reaches
That's
the sacrum,
real footage.
this is the marvelous way in which our body has been designed. And the spinal cord is basically just an extension of the brain. It also does thinking. And you see, the holy claustrum is otherwise known as the Santa Claustrum. You see, because this fluid that goes down to the sacred plexus is a sacred fluid. And this is where the story of Santa Claus bringing presents down the chimney comes from. It's a story of physiology. And the Bible is a beautiful manual of physiological regeneration. What happens with this
Allegorical
fluid
allegories, like
is
Maynard
that
says.
every month when the moon is in the sign where your sun was when you were born, every month there is a germ or a seed planted in the solar plexus, which is just above the sacral plexus. And that germ is the oil, the Christ, which is born in Bethlehem, because the solar plexus is otherwise known as Bethlehem, where the seed, where the Christ is born. And that seed, that oil needs to return whence it came, in the midbrain. You see, as the oil ascends the spinal cord, the vibration of the oil of the Christ increases. And you see, first of all, the oil is differentiated in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland before it is sent down the spinal cord. And the pineal gland is the electric portion, and the pituitary gland is the magnetic portion. So the oil is...
Right now, any mechanic will tell you that a motor runs off of electric and magnetism. That's what makes them crank. That's what makes them run. Every motor in every car that's ever been built. So, and Also, I have researched everything in this video in many other browsers, many other. So I'm not just going off. I don't just watch one video and say, okay, that's the gospel or the God
Yeah.
spells.
This makes so much sense here because, like, I'm gonna tell you, back during XPL trials, you know, back in the day, probably about 15, 20 years ago or so, I probably can count on one hand how many I did, but the story of some idiot, you know, some smart idiot that basically got some of the story but didn't know how to tell it, said something like this, which is making sense. They was like, man, I don't do X pills because it make the blood from your brain drip on your spine. And that was like all they said. And this is like making me remember this is what they was trying to say.
How many times does somebody see something that, oh, that shivers down my spine, or I felt that. There's a rock and roll production company called Spine Farm.
Yeah.
There's and this goes into the chakras and stuff as well. It ties it all together.
Yeah, because your spine is basically your,
and it is brought
your
down the
central
spinal
nervous
cord
system.
via the Pingala and the Ida.
That's
There you go.
right to the chakras.
These are what is otherwise known as the Kundalini and the Kundabhatha. So it arrives at the sacral plexus and awaits for the germinating of the seed once a month, 12 times a year.
It's called the
And
Ashwistana,
if we are able to
something like that. if I'm
transmute
saying
that
it right.
seed,
Transmutation.
cause it to rise, as it rises in the spinal cord, it eventually reaches the medulla oblongata and the pons and the midbrain, and it crosses the vagus nerve, otherwise known as the pneumogastric nerve.
Become pneumo.
It's a nerve which descends from the
Descending.
brain area,
That's the throat
from
chakra
the
right there.
pineal and pituitary glands,
Comes from
respectively.
the heart chakra.
And
hairs
it
are standing up
feeds
on my
the
arm right now.
lungs and the stomach. It's a network of nerves. And this network of nerves is called the tree of life. And you see, the ancients knew that this seed that is born in Bethlehem once a month is the Christ. And that if one were to abstain from sex during that period, that oil and seed would be saved. And it would rise. And it would burst through the heart chakra, through the throat chakra, and eventually the oil would arrive with its higher vibration, because you see at the bottom, the oil has a very low vibratory rate.
That's where the shit adds up at the
Whereas
bottom.
with proper practices, meditation, breathing, good eating,
This is
good,
crazy because we
peaceful
all just had
behavior,
a spiritual sound
one is
bath
able to
at
raise that
the spirit
Christ,
house like a
that
couple weeks
oil,
ago. Like all five
so
of us
that
went
it
in group.
crosses the
We
vagus
just had
nerve
a whole session.
at the top of the spinal column, the 33 vertebrae of the spinal column. You see, because the Christ is crucified at 33 years of age. When the oil arrives at the very, very top, there awaiting is the optic thalamus, an egg-shaped organ in the middle of the head.
The crux.
When it crosses this pneumogastric nerve, this is called the crucifixion. The oil is not killed and destroyed, but it is magnified 1,000-fold. And the oil then touches the optic thalamus, and for 2.5 days remains in a condition that is considered to be dead, and then reaches the pineal gland after 2.5 days and illuminates
One spark,
the optic thalamus
one word.
and the pineal gland. The optic thalamus was known as the light of the world by the Egyptians and the Greeks, because they knew their physiology and anatomy, and they knew that this precious oil, which descended from the claustrum, from the cerebrum, and was differentiated in the pineal and pituitary glands, and descended the spinal cord, they knew that it would ascend eventually, and that the enlightened portion of mankind were able to cause this Christ oil to ascend so that it would ascend to the optic thalamus and cause it to be lightened. What in turn
Pattern of
happens
sins
is
comes
that
back
millions
around.
of brain cells that were dormant
How
are
many
now
times we heard about
awakened.
all these brain cells that we don't use?
And you see, there are practices and there are things that are very, very detrimental about this oil, or that are detrimental to this oil. For instance, overeating and alcohol and sex practiced at the wrong time. These destroy the seed, and this is what is known as eating from the tree of life. Because you see, the ancients knew that once the oil is depleted because of riotous living, the fleshly organism dies. Death results from using up all of the oil. You see, the oil that descends from the cerebrum is known otherwise as the manna from heaven. You see, because heaven means heaved up. And the head, the cranium, the dome which sits on top of the torso,
The dome of the rock.
that was known as the heavens, you see. And the heart area and the heart chakra was known as the Midgard, or the middle garden. And the generative area was known as Sodom and Gomorrah, the area of
Animal
desire,
instinct.
animal desire. You see?
Ego.
That's
And
where the
otherwise known
Ashwantala,
as Egypt
with
and hell and the
that
world,
chakra.
etc. Whereas the Garden of Eden and the land flowing with milk and honey, that's upstairs. In fact, the pineal gland produces the honey, a secretion known as honey, which has DMT in it, and the pituitary body secretes the milk. This is the milk and honey.
Melatonin.
And the land flowing with milk and honey is upstairs. This is a sacred secret simply because the secretion which comes from the sacral plexus is one of the most important things that we need to know for physiological regeneration. You see, by saving the seed, one can actually live longer. In fact, the ancients used to live for thousands of years
That's in the Bible.
by
That's in the Quran.
protecting
That's in...
and keeping this secret and guarding it. The Egyptians built ascension chambers, pyramids, for this very purpose. And they taught the science of respecting and keeping and guarding and looking after this beautiful oil. And if you know the Gospels well, you will know all the scriptures that are referring to it. You see, I am the light of the world. He that follows me shall not walk in darkness. The light of the world is the optic thalamus. Keep your eye simple, for if your eye is dark, your whole body will be dark. That eye has always been known as the third eye. In fact, it's the spiritual eye. Now, as for the deniers, you see, most churchgoers will be denying this because in their
I
mind,
was just going to say that.
Jesus Christ is a historical person, which
Just going to
must
say that.
return
Every
physically
time I try to
in
talk
order to save
spirituality
them,
around
because
Christians, it's
they
like they
cannot
want
save themselves. They
to,
need a
you know,
vicarious,
Look,
third-party
vicarious.
savior.
vicarious.
Whereas the opposite is true.
That's what I'm saying. I've been thinking about, like, I've been watching it, and I've been, like, hinting around in tool chat rooms and stuff. I'm like,
Right.
surely this band I've been following my whole life doesn't know the whole damn secret to life. I mean, I've been, like, thinking I was crazy, man, like, completely insane.
Dude, you're
And
not alone.
I've always wondered where Maynard gets all
A
these lyrics
Historical
from.
person, which
But-
must return physically in order to save them, because they cannot save themselves. They need a vicarious third-party savior. Whereas the opposite is true. And this is what the so-called Apostle Paul was talking about when he referred to the sacred secret
How
of the
old
Christ
is this
within,
video?
the Christ that dwelleth within.
Well, it's been
For you
took
see,
down
the
many
kingdom of God
times,
is
but I
within.
haven't.
It's
I
not
haven't
without.
recorded.
And in fact, the words of Jesus are pretty clear where it says, do not be looking out
Send it
there,
to me.
for the kingdom of
For
God
kingdom
will
heaven
not come with
come with
striking
striking
observableness. Don't look here and don't look there, because there will be deceivers saying, oh, there he is. Here is the
Deceiver.
Christ. There is the
The
Christ.
deceiver from fear not.
Because the process is within. And
Not without.
unless one is able to
There's the spiral.
raise that energy and get out of the bottom chakras. You see, the bottom chakras deal with sexuality, strife, envy, power, greed, wealth, and all of those things. And if one is constantly seeking those things and constantly eating of the fruit of the tree of life, you see those beautiful nerves, the pneumogastric nerve system, they are responsible for bringing the oil back up, those beautiful spiritual presence. And we are the ones who are responsible for channeling that oil, that Christ seed within, so that it eventually is crucified in the middle of the head. You see, the cerebrum is
Crucify the
hollowed
ego.
out, and the midbrain and the limbic system at the top of the spinal cord is the holy of holies. And the cerebellum, which sits at the back of the brain, this is otherwise known as the small brain. The cerebrum is associated with the top of the head, Aries, and the cerebellum is associated with Taurus, and the left brain, the male left brain.
That's why the
The
bulls
right
are
brain is
buried
the
in
feminine,
Egypt.
and it is connected to the cerebrum, Aries, the God brain. You see, we have the God man is the cerebrum.
Like I said, you
The
God
Adam
sent.
man is the cerebellum.
There's
You're
Now,
good
your
church
sense.
you won't get any of this in church. This is
spirit,
esoteric
Holy
truth.
Ghost.
Exoteric truth denies this and has been perpetuated for the last few thousand years by so-called Christian
See, all of that,
churches in order
That's
to deny
occultism right there.
and
That's
hide
worship.
the true
Idol
story
worship,
of
man
physical
worship,
regeneration.
and following rules.
In the past, people have lived for thousands of years by preserving.
Noah lived for 900 some years. And look, the religious people aren't bad. They're in a cult and don't know it.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is why this has separated me from all my family, because they think I'm some kind of devil worshiper or something, and I don't even believe in the devil.
Right.
I don't believe there's one being. I mean, heaven's perfect, but there was a war that started there, and everybody got kicked out. It don't make no sense at all, none.
No, and then when you gonna die, we all go to heaven. That mean where all the dead people that ever died just hanging out. What they doing? Not cussing, not fucking, and just sit up there singing hymns out the Bible. I doubt it. I doubt it.
It's
I doubt that somewhere.
heaven and nirvana and enlightenment and all these terms, saved. We don't need to be saved. We save ourselves because the divine spark is within us.
Yeah.
It's like the Creator reached down and gave us all a little tip of His. It's like God is living vicariously through all of us and experiencing reality through our eyes.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's not like this is denouncing a God. This is denouncing. I heard a great saying once: if you can let man turn you away from God, in other words, a church or something tell you that you're not good enough because you walked away, you never believed anyway, then you were never in a relationship with God. You were just in religion.
Yep.
That is a great saying.
And here's one I believe, like when it comes to Christianity and when it comes to religions, as soon as you walk in the church, the first thing that religion tells you is seek ye the truth.
And it tells you don't have to come here to.
This might not be your truth. This might not be where you're going to find it. I got a lot of people sitting in here that they want to sit in this vessel because the congregation feels like we need to look over and, okay, we bowing our heads. Okay, I need validation that I'm a good person. They need this vessel. And this is how they're going to find their truth. But you might be too smart to be sitting here with the idiots. You know what I'm saying?
It's easy to prey on someone when they feel weak, at their worst times.
Exactly.
When they're vulnerable and they need reassurance. I mean, it's so you. Let's finish the video and then we'll talk about it in more detail.
Preserving and conserving this oil and transmuting it so that it reaches the optic thalamus You see, what happens when the oil reaches the optic thalamus is that new blood is generated in the body.
Saved
Until
through the
such
blood of
time
Christ in your
as
soul.
this
blood
process
plexus.
has occurred, we will have old, toxic blood in our physical organisms. And in order to regenerate and produce new blood, the oil must be raised to the optic thalamus, and healing can occur. And as I said before, the millions of dormant brain cells are reactivated. And the heavens, the cerebrum, were awaiting the return of the prodigal son. You see, because we all have these dormant
God's
brain
son.
cells in our brains. Yes, because they have not returned any of the oil. And in the Bible, this is known as tithing. You see, this is why the Bible says you must return 1/10 to the Lord. Remember, the Lord, the Lord,
Not the Lord.
refers to the gold.
Like a landlord.
You see, this is how we turn lead into gold.
Alchemy.
Our spinal cord is like a thermometer. And as the
The
mercury
grudge says
rises
that.
with warmth,
The grudge.
the more so with
Turn grudges
enlightenment
into gold.
and
Turns
consciousness
into gold.
and knowledge, we are able to raise the condition of this oil. And as it climbs the spine and ascends, it raises its vibration. In fact, when it gets crucified at the top of the spine, where the
crucifixion don't mean
pneumogastric
death.
nerve is
No,
crossed,
crucify the ego.
this does not mean death. This means, crucifixion means to multiply 1,000-fold. And you see, not only is physical regeneration a result of this, but also spiritual regeneration. And one is able to experience the higher mind and clairvoyance. You see, mediumship occurs down in the solar plexus.
Nurture
There are
nature,
4
heaven
brains
and home.
in the human body. The cerebrum, what is otherwise known as the God brain.
This video could
The
very much be
cerebellum,
the
which is the
blueprint
man
of
brain.
Tool's
The medulla
catalog.
oblongata,
I've been thinking I
which
was
is
crazy,
responsible
bro.
for the
No, you're not. That's exactly. I mean, we sitting here
involuntary
comparing notes, and we coming
actions
up
in
with
the
the
body,
same
such as
conclusion.
breathing and blood circulation. And the 4th brain is the solar plexus,
Saw
Like,
so
I'm
many
which
hearing
people
is more
resonate
related to
with
the animal
Tool.
instinctive brain,
Yeah, I'm hearing
which
all the lyrics. We
receives
coming up.
images
We sitting here comparing the lyrics out of
from
what we
the ether,
seeing.
from the air, you see.
Even
Just
the
like
7-point
animals
star.
do, and they
We just talked about
react
that, the animals.
correspondingly, without reason and logic, instinctively. So you see, this is why it is so important to raise the oil,
Bringing
so
out
that
our
one
hope
can
and
get out
reason.
of the lower mind. The lower mind is the solar plexus, and wrought
This is
with
yeah.
problems. You see,
This is what I
ascension is
believe
within.
in.
One ascends to heaven, the heaved up place, the dome of the cerebrum. You see those 2 flaps, those hollowed out
This is going to blow your
hemispheres
mind.
of the cerebrum are otherwise known as the cherubim. You see, in the Bible, God says to Moses, you must build the Ark of the Covenant with 2 cherubim above the Ark, covering over. And inside the Ark shall be placed the manna and the law of God, the 2 tablets. Well, I'm here to tell you that the optic thalamus is the Ark of the Covenant. And the limbic system and the midbrain, the pons, the medulla oblongata, the pineal gland, these are the Holy of Holies. This is where one needs to return the good oil. In the middle of the head, there is something known as the hippocampus. The hippocampus is the little horse. This is the white horse that Jesus rides upon. There is something known as Ammon's horn.
This is, takes the cake.
Absolutely. Ammon's horn in the middle of the head.
Jesus' name, Ammon.
Ammon's horn? Goodness me. Would that be in Jesus' name, Ammon, the same dude? Yeah, it would. We have the claustrum. We have the cerebrum, the covering angels, the cherubim, which cover over, because the cerebrum covers over the cerebellum. and the midbrain,
Nostradamus tried
and the
to tell
optic
them this.
thalamus,
Aristotle.
and the pineal gland, and the pituitary gland, otherwise known as Joseph and Mary. You see, these two are the ones that are responsible for sending the oil down the spine, down the spinal cord. And they are the ones that await the return of their son, who is born in Bethlehem, the solar plexus, once a month. Once a month, when the moon is in the sun sign that you were born under.
That's even the cover of a Perfect Circle album.
Yeah, man.
I've been wanting so bad to compare notes with somebody that knows Tool's discography so well. So
I'm the perfect person to
think
get
I'm
on this
not
with.
completely
welcome back to my
crazy,
channel.
man.
I am Johanna. I am obsessed with ancient history.
Yeah, I'm the
Because-
perfect person to get on this with.
I mean,
So
even the total solar eclipse that's going to happen soon is the perfect circle. It's
yeah. Oh, and thanks to the 6 people still out here fucking with us.
thank you. Yeah, I was about to say that, man, because
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to talk about. And again, it's why Maynard always says that thing that you just can't go there. You just can't.
Y'all
think
welcome to
about.
join in.
That's where you should focus, because if you can resonate and understand that thing, then everything else is gravy.
Exactly.
Is Pink Floyd sings about, we call it riding the gravy train. You know, it's that's why Floyd and that's why Floyd has the pyramid and the lights coming as their symbol. Also, why like America sings that song, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. There's so many songs that talk about this kind of nonchalantly.
Even in school is glanced over, but you got to look how it's done in school. School will tell you basic science, biology, math, reading and things just to get you by. But these things, yeah, we learned about all of these parts of the brain in a science book in 9th grade. But they just skip right over it just to say, okay, look, we talked about that, but we can't go deep into that because we need them to use that brain to worry about math so they can learn how to get out here and be shit in society instead.
And think about it, your solar plexus. So, and if you can generate new blood through Christ, then you save your soul through Christ's blood. The blood of Christ saves your soul. It's not saying the Bible's wrong. It's actually confirming the Bible. But they're allegories. Allegorical allegories. What's that thing Maynard made up that word?
Allegorical
elegies.
Yeah. And Christos, meaning Christ, meaning the anointed one. Anointed, meaning it's an oil. Anointed Christos ointment is an
Now
oil.
I can put the cherry on the cake. The pineal gland has always been known as like a pine cone. The largest pine cone monument on Earth sits in the middle of the Vatican. The Pope that
has a pine cone on the staff.
Has a pine cone on the staff.
Yeah, there is always this signs and symbols right there in front of us. It's just this is how we find
right
it.
now. I mean,
this is how we find this shit and talk about it without them telling us, because they're not gonna tell us. They hope we get here. We have to get here is where we at. And they're not gonna tell us this shit what we talking.
Even through reaction channels, I've met so many people on other continents and other parts of the world, and I realized that we're not so different. It's the governments and the structures it may be that tell us right in two, that divide us right in two. The angels on the sideline, the angels have been referred to as the entities that people constantly see in the DMT.
In the DMT, there's 10 different entities, and I can go into that because
they're mapping the realm literally legally.
That's what I said.
Now.
That's what I said. Psychonaut TV is about a map. We need to start mapping this stuff out because I've compared a lot of psychedelic stories with people. I'm in the psychedelics all the time, and I talk to people all over the country with this, So I hear, yeah, I seen this, and then somebody else would be like, I saw that too, but I saw further down the street, and somebody like, yeah, I saw it from around the corner. We need to start. There is a map, and they're placing it inside of us. And I'm gonna tell you, my first good DMT trip, when I was coming out of it, I could see, like, in the air, like in between me and this computer screen, I could see physical webs of information. Like, we are
Right.
computers. When you
The
have these
Akashic
aha
record.
moments, yeah, when you have these aha moments, oh yeah, it just came to me. No, this stuff is coming right from the air. There are physical lines of information coming downloaded right to us all the time. Before we actually made physical computers, we are the computer. We compute this shit. We come up with the shit that's in computers. We just do it a little bit slower because we're thinking about the shit in front of us instead of the shit that's actually directly piped in from the atmosphere. DMT, a good DMT trip, I physically saw this shit. It sounds crazy, but we sitting there talking about crazy shit that only can make sense in this realm, but I physically saw strings of information, and it just made so much sense that's how we tap into, the universe and others and other species, and we'll be able to do that telepathic speaking as soon as we reach 46 and 2 and understand that we are one species.
There's 7 minutes and 9 seconds here where Maynard tells this story and explains it. The whole thing we just heard, and he uses ducks. He explains it with ducks. It's funny that if you walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it might be a duck. I swear, watch this. This is Pussifer, an Easter story.
Huh. I've never caught this little Easter egg.
Several years back, during one of our beautiful Arizona springs, I had a bit of a aha reminder moment while walking the ducks from their bunkhouse over to the orchard pond. Once they take a quick swim and eat their breakfast, they tend to circulate all around the orchard throughout the day, eating new weed growth and bugs. And I do a roll call, coming and going, to count the ducks, because we have predators at night, and we risk losing a duck if they're left behind. And this particular evening, I was short one, so I did my due diligence. I poked around the pond, under the peach and apricot trees, along the fence line, and eventually I found Larry, one of our first ducks that we raised from a duckling.
And how does he even have
Hiding in
time
the
to do
roseberry.
this shit?
Normally all the ducks lay their eggs
Maybe he
in the
raises oil.
bunkhouse and then head out for
Man,
the
it's
day,
3
but
Maynards. I swear it's
she
3 of them.
was sitting on eggs in one of the shrubs, and had to kind of fish her out. It immediately reminded me of Easter egg hunting as a child, and a lesson that I'd learned from a local farmer and neighbor. She explained to me that this ritual of searching for eggs was not random. Although to most modern folk it seems to be just that. A random, non sequitur ritual. She said that the reason for most people's opinion on this matter is because every grocery store, everywhere, has eggs available year-round. 6-packs, 12-packs, 18-packs. Every color, every shape. And, because they are so readily and abundantly available year-round, we forget the struggles of a time period when they were not. There was a time when egg laying was directly associated with spring and new growth and rebirth
Right.
and survival.
Reminds me of Zeitgeist.
Perpetuation of all creatures who had survived the long winter. Of course, the perpetuation of these ducks relied on their eggs not being found by other winter survivors, obviously, so they would cleverly hide them from the predators. It was a fairly simple story of to be or not to be in basic survival, and one which, in my opinion, we have lost touch with. In a way, Easter egg hunt is a cognitive and situational awareness survival training for our kids, as well as serving as muscle memory for times when we might need it most. Eggs are the last item in your refrigerator to go bad, and this has everything to do with their shape and the absence of corners, that idea, that metaphor of infinity and regeneration. Thermal density and the interplay between subtle, almost imperceptible heat and cold enjoy uninterrupted random movement inside that infinite surface of the egg. So kind of a survival of its own. And an appropriate symbol for the vernal equinox of the new light that it brings, resulting in everything springing to life.
You wonder how you put these lyrics together.
Keep in mind, this period of time arrives on the heels of a long period of darkness. If a family had a difficult growing season that affected the harvest from the previous autumn or the fall equinox, surviving the long night could prove difficult, and on the shortest and darkest day of the year, at the end of December, known as the winter solstice, family, friends, neighbors, they bring each other gifts to ensure they make it through. These were gifts of hope, and in some cases, literal salvation. As romantic a notion as it is, we are not islands, and we cannot always do this thing called life on our own. The cliche, "it takes a village to raise a child," also applies to maintaining a healthy village.
I love you, Mayor.
Man has taught me so much in my life.
This is where he gets the lyrics for reflection. Right
There's
here.
a breathtaking
That's why that song,
celestial event
that song resonates
that
with me. That,
serves as
that
a
song
perfect
is the
metaphor
one
for
that
this healthy community ideology
it was
known as
like
the
a dog
Paschal
whistle
moon.
to me.
This is the full moon following the spring equinox when it lands in
Egg
April.
moon.
It's called the egg moon, not coincidentally. If one has a clear view of opposite horizons, there's an incredible moment that can occur just at sunrise when the egg moon is visible. For a brief moment, the moon appears to be as bright as the sun, and they seem identical. Using the cycle of the moon as a metaphor for the lifetime of a person and the waxing thin sliver of light as their awakening consciousness, and the formation of self, and the waning light as our elder years. Then the full moon represents that fully developed self, the full light of our accomplishments and personality shining for all to see. But in reality, this is not the person's or the moon's light at all. It's the infinite light from a higher power, the sun. And we are simply reflecting that light, which, in the instance of spring, is the bringer of life, rebirth, reproduction, resurrection, reconnection,
This is
of salvation, of infinity,
like guys thinking.
and of hope. Have a happy Easter.
Yeah, I can't say enough. I can't even. I'm
Maynard
speechless.
just
Fucking speechless.
Maynard just explained every religion in 2,000 years of
In
questions
7
in
minutes
7 minutes with ducks.
with ducks and eggs. And it's just brilliant because, like I said,
I just had a God.
God
I just had
damn.
a spiritual. I'm crying. My damn hairs are standing up on my arm.
I'm feeling the same thing, man, because I never saw that, and it's like every
That is
time he
as
speaks
spiritual as
something
it
I
gets.
haven't heard, it's like I listen. But it goes back to what the other video you just played before him. He said some people run away from this, some people tune it out. I'm thinking about that because I try to talk this to people. I try to teach people psychedelics, even though when I'm talking about psychedelics and talking about this part of it, people be like, "Oh, it's a drug, it's illegal." It's like, fuck all that. I'm trying to teach you something. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to. They don't
All it
really.
does is get rid of muscle memory. I can
Mhm.
drive my car fine on psychedelics, but if I take these pills that I'm prescribed, Valiums and Adderall, I might get my ego to think I can drive really fast stuff. But when I'm on
Yeah.
psychedelics, I realize I'm in a damn 6,000-pound piece of metal, passing all these
Exactly.
people inches away that could end my life instantly if I just
Right.
take my attention off for a second. So I'm very cautious about
Mhm.
it, and very, like you said, I can almost see the trees breathing, and understand that everything in this room is not still right now. I'm not alone. Everything is made up of atoms and particles, and
Exactly. Psychedelic experience, DMT experiences. Like I said, I saw a web of
it's
information. You
doing
can't
wonders for
unsee this. You can't
PTSD too.
unknow this.
People that have been taking medications and seeing psychiatrists for years, soldiers and stuff that have PTSD, take one treatment sometimes of microdosing in a controlled legal environment, and never have to take another medicine again, and
Yeah.
literally are cured of the PTSD, which is one of the most
I was
terrible
diagnosed
things
with it
on
back
earth.
long time ago. I was diagnosed with it and went through a depressed stage after I got stabbed and went to prison and all of that. Yeah, I felt a lot of that stuff. But microdosing, it's like I look back, you have to have a conscious mind of growth and development. And that's the only way you're gonna find these enlightenment things. That's when you're gonna find these psychedelic medicines. You're gonna get the psychedelic treatment from it, and you end up having conversations like this with people that are like-minded instead of sitting around talking to idiots at this time of night. You know what I'm saying?
And it almost, after gaining clarity through spirituality, we'll call it, it takes your need for small talk away. You don't want small talk anymore. Small talk is, you want to talk about things that mean something, things that are
Yeah.
relevant, things
Yep.
that will change the world. Because nobody's standing on the corner doing small talk or standing in line of an institution has ever changed the world. The only people that ever changed the world, Joan of Arc and Aristotle and people like that, were the ones that stepped outside the lines of reason, pushed the envelope, watched it bend. They went lateralist. They didn't stand in a line, a straight line.
Exactly.
And look, the only reason I have had the time to find these videos, like even you haven't seen, is because, I'm terminal, and I've had to face my mortality and my divinity, and look, staring death in the eyes, and I hear it all the time. Well, we're all dying, man. We are. But
Yeah.
when a doctor tells you and gives you a timeline, and you feel your body dying every day, like I can't walk in the bathroom right now without huffing and puffing,
Right.
and I don't want pity. That's not what I'm after. It's made me have the time to sit here and research things that I've always questioned and didn't have time for because I always had to work or had something else to do, and also meeting people from all around the world through reaction channels, and realizing that we're all really the same thing. We all go through
Exactly.
the same emotions, everything, just different times and situations and locations, but it's still all the same. I made a 3-minute video that I put on Facebook in 2012 before I ever got clean. Or, I mean, I'm still not sober, but I'm legally sober.
Right.
See how hypocritical that sounds?
Yeah. Right.
But yet, the two hardest drugs I ever had to quit was caffeine and nicotine. Oh, what? They're not drugs? Who told you that? Because they're two of the most addictive things on the planet. So to say they're not drugs, but a mushroom and pot that was put here by the creator,
Right.
and DMT, every kind of psychedelic other than LSD, which the government created
Right.
when they were doing
And X pills, because that's just synthetic versions of psychedelics. Like
they were trying to make a
Yopo
super
and
soldier. They want
I do all of these things. Yopo, Kava, Kamiana, Radiala, Damiana, Blue Lotus, Mad Honey, all of these. I know all of these things in their natural ingredients that give you these awakening thoughts. These enlightenment eras, and I've taken so many. Look, matter of fact, well, sitting right there, I got a little can of mushrooms. That just sit and microdose out of. What I'm saying, daily. It keeps the brain woke. It keeps me knowing, and like I say, I can't unknow what I believe about Egypt. I can't unknow what I believe about Christianity and spirituality. I can't have a conversation no less than. So to sit around people on some, oh yeah, man, blah, 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 it's so fucking beneath me. Because what are we talking about? Where are we going?
Well,
You know?
have you ever heard that, you know, marijuana is the gateway drug to everything else?
Yeah.
I've heard that my whole life.
I have too.
It's funny that the MK Ultra government program was called the Gateway Program, but on top of that, it's not a gateway to other drugs. It's a gateway to opening your mind. That's why it's demonized.
Yep.
That's why marijuana is a Schedule 1 narcotic, and heroin and cocaine and meth are under it. And we all know it's not, those drugs are worse.
Way worse. Alcohol is worse.
Fentanyl is under marijuana and LSD and psychedelics. Like they're all, that's the fentanyl is under mushrooms and marijuana, which are legal halfway around.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, because a Schedule 1 narcotic means that something has no medical relevance or any positive anything. That's what a Schedule 1 is. But so if they make meth or Adderall or heroin or codeine Schedule 1, they can't sell it in the damn pharmacies to everybody in the world.
Yep. And keep you
and
fucked
alcohol
up.
is legal because, as we know in that video we just heard, is the worst thing you can do to kill the oil.
Yep. It deteriorates and destroys everything, you know, in the body.
That's why I think the reference was made by the church, not by
state.
A spirit that Jesus turned water into wine.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can break these things down forever, but it just goes to show that there's a different side of consciousness.
I've been wanting for so long to make a video about this. I just didn't know how to put it all together, like without sounding like a crazy person and I've also been wondering how, like, I could go through you old posts that I put in tool chat rooms, trying to hint around to see if anybody's like, yeah, man, that's where Maynard gets all his lyrics. But so I've almost been thinking I'm insane. Like, but as Waylon Jennings said, I might go crazy, but it's kept me from going insane.
Yeah. And maybe somebody will get something from this video. Maybe somebody will watch this and, you know, and play it back and dig through it and get how we got this conclusion. Because, like I say, everybody out there watching, I will be continuing with Psychonaut TV, and I'll be back on here, and we're going to definitely have some more discussions about music and psychedelics. And I mean, it's a platform for this, you know, so I encourage everybody to come out and start talking about this shit for real.
And we can talk about, I don't want to kill people with tool all the time. I tell people all the time that hell with the music, don't listen to it. Just look up the lyrics and read them.
Yeah. That's how I tell people. It's not that Tool is like a rock band I like.
Thank you so much, Cosmic Vagabond Pixie. Hi, I'd just like to say thank you both for talking about this. I could never do small talk as far back as I can remember. So thank you.
Hey,
you are very welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very welcome.
I can talk all day. Honestly, as you can see, I got many topics.
I can talk all day. My mouth's paralyzed. I got a holy throat. I ain't got no damn teeth. I don't have no lungs.
But you my buddy, so we can sit and talk all the time, though.
I mean, I probably need to put my oxygen on right now, but I'm not going to. It's okay. I mean, I'm happy to be dying. I'm happy to be alive to be able to die. So I'm not going to complain about the air I can't breathe. I'm going to be thankful for the air I can. So, and that's not ego. That is from the bottom and the top of my heart. That is how I feel. I want everyone to lift each other up. I don't want anyone to be putting each other down. Right. I love every person on this earth, even evil people, because they make other people understand what being good is, or at least make them acknowledge what we are capable of doing.
They here for a
To,
reason. They
each
here
other.
for it to serve as examples. Like I say, to keep us knowing what not to do. You know.
Never believed in an eternal damnation. Yes, we both have channels, by the way. His channel has tons of content on it. He's going to be putting more, and mine does too. I have a couple videos that under YouTube guidelines I've had to restrict to 18 and over of me on psychedelics talking. One's called A Trip Through the Cemetery. One's called it's
You was out there.
Well,
Don't worry about it because you're not crazy.
I started making fun of fishermen, but I didn't really mean to, man. I was trying to watch the sun come up, and they was backing their boats in the water, and I was making a video for my partner OGL to watch later when I got home because my service had got turned off. So I didn't have nothing but just the camera, and I'm trying to wait for the sun to come up because I'm want to see how beautiful it is because. And it's 27 degrees. These people are backing boats in and getting in these little rafts and floating around and waiting for a fish at the convenience store across the street. I'm like, what? These people have to really love fishing. And I love fishing. This is just what happened. But it is hilarious. But it has a lot of profanity in it. And I'm like,
He was tripping.
I'm like, you got to be really hungry. Why don't you just go across the street to the damn store? Like, we are still going. OGL, we don't watch the whole Sacred Secretion video. We watched the egg. He's seen all these. We watched the how Maynard explained everything with ducks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was enlightening right there. You gotta watch Zeitgeist.
I swear, like a drunken sailor. Hey, it's all right, man. I don't really believe in good and evil. I just believe there is. I believe we make our own reality, and yeah, again,
yeah, it's balance.
It's all
I keep it in my
head. I
head.
have that negative day. It's okay. It's allowing you maybe to have a positive day, and when I have a positive day, you may be having the negative one.
Yeah,
but it's okay because it teaches
direction. You know, I wouldn't know where I'm going in life if I didn't know where I don't want to be.
I love that. I love that. And I always say, quit counting the days and make the days count.
Yeah. I got another one too. You are the color of your dreams.
Wow. You just made me think of a dream within a dream.
Yeah. You can dream of anything. You can dream of anything. You can dream of any colors. You can dream of any shape. And that's what you are. If you can think it and it's inside of there and you can subconsciously conjure it, then you can manifest it. And that's who you really are.
Bill Hicks always said that everybody's packing all the time because we all have DMT in our brains. That's what makes you dream. That's why DMT, when you do it, it only lasts 15 minutes or so because our bodies already have it, so they know how it knows how to cycle it out. That's why dreams are so vivid.
You better take your pen when you go, because you will forget.
Well, that's like I'm the chosen one, the one who deliver a message for those who choose to hear it, and a warning for those who do not. Me, the chosen one, they chose me. I didn't even graduate out of high school. To write it down for all the world to see, but I forgot my pen.
My pen. That's when I'm serious. Like
Rosetta Stone.
I even got a DMT vape. You know what I'm saying? And I'll sit and have me a couple rips off of it. I was in
OGL,
Vegas.
you know Cosmic Pixie? Sorry, Link.
Oh yeah.
OGL's my partner. He's who I made the river video for. He's never done any drugs, and he's connected with me psychedelically because my muscle memory leads, and I don't know how to work the damn computer. I'm like, man, put something cool on. I don't know how to do it. But He is. He's also seen me on my prescription drugs high that way, and I'm. He understands what I mean when I say that psychedelics is not a buzz.
Right.
It's
Like when Maynard
possible
says,
for
"Holy
memory and
fucking
ego.
shit." Holy fucking shit is not an expression. That's a revelation.
Yes. Yes.
That's like, I remember being in DMT
Wake up,
trips.
remember.
Yeah, I remember being in DMT trips and like just with my eyes closed, just kick back in the zone, floating with the entities and just saying, "Holy fucking shit!" Every 2 or 3 seconds.
I think all the DMT is astral projection.
Mm-hmm. It's a concentrated download of information.
Imagine if everyone on the planet, not even with psychedelics, just concentrated on something beautiful at the same time and put our minds together. I mean, that's a cliche, right?
Yeah.
Put your heads together. Usually has
We can
something
work as a
to
species.
work together, teamwork. All these cliches are the truth hurts. The truth shall set you free.
Right.
There's so many cliches that are love hurts, love scorns.
Love is blind, ignorance is bliss.
Common sense ain't common.
Right. That is
Also, real quick, Cosmic, you may love this too. I believe in science, universe, and something else speaks to it. I totally agree. Totally agree. Have you ever listened to Tool? I think you would love Tool, by the way. Again, not who cares about the music? Just look up the lyrics to the songs. But I think the months were changed too, and there's a pretty good example of that. I know that the Gregorian calendar was not the original calendar.
Right.
There's a reason all the ancients kept up with the stars and the equinoxes and the precession of the everything.
Yeah. Imagine how
Because
tapped in they was with
think
that.
about this. Okay, so December is supposedly the 12th month.
Yeah.
Go back to September, the 7th month.
Right.
Well, September is
the
what, the 10th month?
The 9th month.
Well, 9th month. Well, Siete is September. Ocho, 8 is October.
August.
Nueve, 9 is November. Deca, 10 is December.
Yeah. Yeah. It's under the
A lot of the real true, like what do they call
there's a connecting language there.
the people read tarot cards and stuff. Mediums and stuff like that. They'll all tell you that the house of the rising sun is talking about your sun sign and what house it was in when you were born.
Yeah.
The house of the rising sun.
Right.
And it's the only song
That's in the tarot card.
ever that I know of that no one knows the origins of. Look it up. Try to look it up. It goes back so far, but no one knows who wrote that song. Nobody. And it's been covered by tons of people. Hank Williams
I don't
Jr.
know if
So
my
many
girl
people have
Jenny's
covered
still
this
watching. I don't know if Jenny's still watching, but yeah, Jenny was telling me about that, about your birth month and then what house. Yeah. We got to get back on that
Even
topic.
the oldest zodiac
to me.
is God's son on a cross with 12 disciples around it.
Mm-hmm. Those are the procession of the cycles of the sun. It's all astrological. It's all
God's
astrological.
son.
Yeah. It was what they call anthropomorphized, however you say the word, where you basically take the story of the stars and kind of like, in order to make it make sense to kids, you got to put figures to it. It was a snake, it was a tail, it was a monkey, it was a dragon, it was a guy with a bow and arrow. You got to make it make sense to people, with physical things. That's why you see like
The pyramids are aligned to Orion's belt. The Mayan temple is aligned to the Oh yeah, Zeppelin. Oh yeah, Jimmy Page was really into the esoteric too.
oh yeah.
And Pink Floyd. Well, the only band that is
Oh,
ever
yeah,
referenced
Zeppelin,
with Pink
Pink
Floyd
Floyd.
is Tool.
Exactly.
And Tool
is like
they're the only two
Zeppelin,
bands
Pink
that's ever referenced together.
It's
No
like you
one
bring
ever
up-
references them with anyone else.
That's
They're the
it.
only
That's
two bands that
exactly.
every reactor says, I didn't even know what my name was while I was listening to that song. Whether it be Floyd or Tool, it's like, that just took me to a different place and I didn't
Yeah.
know where I was. Like, some reactors forget to pause.
Yeah, if
They're
you
like,
like
shit, I
Zeppelin
forgot what I was doing.
and Floyd and those bands, if those was part of your sound, yeah, Tool is the next step. That's the modern day that.
Zeppelin knew it over the hills and far away. That's what he's talking about.
Mhm.
A lot of people think it's every song is sexual, but
So like you say, it ain't about the
you
lyrics.
can't squander your sexual essence to save the seed. So,
Like you say, listen to the lyrics of Tool, but
well, I
it's the
think that may be
lyrics.
the ego cosmic.
It's the lyrics that actually give you the knowledge.
If the singer for Tool, Maynard, says whatever thing that something has been keeping you from going there, but you've been curious the whole time, that's probably the thing that you should focus towards. Because Floyd is great, but Floyd is very political. Tool doesn't have any of that. There is no direct reference to anything. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, I would think Robert played sexy, and I'm not gay, so. I mean, that will. I mean, the man, and he must. I mean, you can't help but notice his package there every time he's moving around. Like, my God, put that thing away, Robert.
I get that. Don't get it wrong. Tool. It's so deep with the music and stuff, and with the visuals and the psychedelic mind trip.
And Tool covers no quarter.
That yes, we will sit and watch this guy perform in drag. So it's like we don't care. We know he's an idiot. You know, I was in Florida when he did it in Florida because Ron DeSantis had really just made that rule about people performing in their
That's why Maynard put the bra back on.
Yeah, and he came out dressed like Florida woman on their ass.
Purposely, and the newer Tool fans was like, "What in the world?" He dressed like one guy, like, dude, he's been doing that forever. He done that all through the '90s. Like, he's been wearing a bra.
Busted out laughing when he came out like that.
One thing, Tool is not a bob your foot band, tap your foot band. None of the words rhyme. None of it. It's not for when you just want to tap your foot and people have a big, almost no reactor knows how to move. They're like, I don't really know how to bob to this, but I love it. They're like, oh man, I mean,
this is great, man. We got to do this more often.
I have 46 and 2 recorded on my channel, just spoken lyrics, or I'm just speaking them. I'm gonna try to find that real quick.
And I got some performances on my page.
Copyright. That won't be copyright.
I got some
take
cool
the string
videos.
down for. I will find it.
That's our journey, man.
We have Led Zeppelin. We have Led Zeppelin reactions on the channel, by the way. Just started doing them recently. I know Led Zeppelin well, but my partner OGL, Greg, had never heard Zeppelin. I mean, he knew who Zeppelin was, obviously, but so it's great because I get to relive all these experiences vicariously through him, and then watch other people do the same thing. So it's amazing. In fact, we had a couple people in the comments say, "Dude, I'm not buying it. That you guys haven't heard Zeppelin before. Y'all are full of crap."
Hey, how about we do the Numa drum cam?
Okay, let me find this video real quick and
that's a good introduction to Tool. Is just watching the maestro on the steel tongue like they're just, woo. That's the human octopus.
Okay.
Which I say, while you looking for that,
actually, John Bonham is Danny Carey's greatest influence. Danny Carey has the big gong behind him, just like
Neil Peart.
And Neil Peart. Those are his two.
Yeah, them was his idols. which if you know they work, then you know.
Okay, I got it now. Spoken lyrics. Wait a minute. 6 and 2. Join in my child, and live. I made this for a buddy of mine who was on psychedelics and wanted to hear it. So 46 and 2. Join in my child, and listen. I've been digging through my old numb shadow. My shadow's shedding skin. I've been picking scabs again. I'm down, digging through my old muscles, looking for a clue. I've been crawling on my belly, clearing out what could have been. I've been wallowing in my own confused and insecure delusions. For a piece to cross me over or a word to guide me in. I want to feel the changes coming down. I want to know what I've been hiding in my shadow.
What up,
Changes
Sammy?
coming through my shadow shedding skin. I've been picking my scabs again. Join in my child. My shadow moves closer to me. I've been crawling on my belly, clearing out what could have been. I've been wallowing in my own chaotic and insecure delusions. I want to feel the change consume me, feel the outside turning in. I want to feel the metamorphosis and cleansing I've endured in. My shadow, change is coming. Now it's my time. Listen to my muscle memory and contemplate what I've been clinging to. 46 and 2 are just ahead of me. I choose to live, to grow, to give and to move, learn and love and cry, kill and die, and to be paranoid and to lie, hate and fear, and to do what it takes to move through. I choose to live and to lie, kill and give and to die, learn and love and to do what it takes to step through. See my shadow changing, stretching up and over me, soften this old armor, hoping I can clear the way by stepping through my shadow, coming out the other side, stepping through the shadow. 46 and 2 are just ahead of me.
Well, just ahead of me.
That's the shit. That's the shit I said.
Yes. And let me recap on that right there. You know, to anybody that probably don't know the song or know what the lyrics mean and didn't catch us earlier. 46 and 2 is a reference to evolution, cell evolution.
So we've done 3 so far. Ramble On, Over the Hills and Far Away. I didn't add one to the playlist. I need to fix that.
100%.
Shut up, OGL.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry. So what we got here? We do everything from country to R&B to Zeppelin. So Ramble On. Over the Hills Far Away. And What Is and What Should Never Be, which is actually talking about Robert Plant having a baby with his sister-in-law or his stepsister. And that is what is and what should never be. I learned that through the comments of this video. But it made sense after they told me. I'm like, oh my God, I think you're right. Glad the comment.
Oh, and I guess, I'll put this out there. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channels. Share this video for real if you feel like this has been a good topic, to get around, because you see we stuck in it in the middle of the night, everybody from different time zones around the world. So yeah, maybe a few of us, but we here and we know what we on. We know what we on right now.
So many people were giving their interpretations here. Thank you, Link. But this one person blew my mind. It was about Robert's affair with his wife's sister. They got married and stayed together in the early 80s. And I'm like, what? He also actually went out with his wife's sister before he married her. but the sister made him choose between his music and her.
Damn, was it a
He chose
small
music.
town? Fuck
Hey,
is
I'm
this?
from
I'm
West
the one from
Virginia.
Alabama. Shit.
My family originates in West Virginia. I gotta find that original comment. What in the world? 10 replies. I guess this must be it. Somebody in here said it. The song about Plant's infatuation with his sister-in-law, who he later had a baby with. It's a known fact and explained in his bio, A Life.
Huh.
I think the notion that what should and what should not be possibly appeared in Hammer of the Gods, which is not entirely credible in some aspects. The relationship with his once sister-in-law came, so I understand, around the time he split up with his wife Maureen, which was quite a number of years after, I don't know how to say that. As reported on the same album, Plant had the lyrics, "Thank You," from the song "Thank You," as a dedication to Maureen. Seems unlikely he'd pen a song based on an affair with his sister-in-law. That's somebody trying to dispute it. Anyway, you can research it on yourself if you love Zeppelin that much.
Yeah. That sounds like an interesting
Yeah, okay, so
Edgar Allan Poe, Jerry Lee Lewis type shit going on.
I'm sorry, I can't find it. There's a Pink Floyd reference in this episode. I never particularly cared for Pink Floyd, but what do I know?
Oh, actually, Tool did cover a Zeppelin song.
Yeah, No Quarter.
No Quarter. Which is a kick-ass version of it.
Why can't I not find it, man? That's gonna drive me crazy.
So if you like Zeppelin, I'll say go find Tool No Quarter and dive in that way. Any door you walk into it is gonna be captivating.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole the size of the Grand Canyon.
But yeah, Tool is a rabbit hole.
I do have to take breathing treatments, and so I guess we'll wrap it up, Link. But
Yeah, we've been
we'll
almost
definitely do
2.5
this
hours
again.
here.
This is we've been waiting on this for a long time. We were friends way before the YouTube thing, through chat rooms and such.
Yep. Me and OG go back, and we talked plenty
Okay,
times.
she
We
knows about this, but yeah.
Mhm.
Start with them at the age of 7. I was listening to Zeppelin at 7 as well. It took me a long time to realize that a lot of the lyrics were sexual, and that Robert Plant was literally making orgasmic sounds as he sings. But he does. And I was like, oh my God. Well, this Q&A is for song suggestions too, I guess. I think it's in the description somewhere. So what song because my partner has heard none of them. I thought about doing a whole lot of love next. Because it's got a psychedelic breakdown in the middle of it. It's crazy sounding. In fact, I used to lay it in my speakers, put one on each side and turn the lights off at my house.
Yeah,
Or
the
even
best
before
way.
drugs, and just turn them off and just listen to it.
The best way to go.
All right, man. Much love. Mental
All
health
right.
is real.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Thank y'all for
Quit
who've been
counting the
sticking out here
days.
with us. You
Take the
know,
days
come
to
back,
count.
go check out my page. You know, you can follow me on Facebook too, Link Johnson.
Yeah, even you can find him at the bottom of my page as reactors that I suggest.
Yeah.
But I will update this description of this video right after this and put his link in this video too.
Yeah.
So
All right, my buddy.
But all right, thank you. Cool. We'll do that. I love Chris Cornell's version of it too. He's done a good version of Thank You. Yeah, Zeppelin's great, man. I mean, All bands, all rock
All
and roll
right.
bands start with Sabbath and Zeppelin. I think. I mean, I would assume so.
All right, Cosmic, I'm gonna be looking for you again. Thanks for interacting with us.
No doubt. Check
All
some
right.
Tool out.
That's what's up.
All right, man. Much love, everybody. We are not
Peace.
islands. We are all connected. The one and one are one.
Always. Much love, my dude.
Bye for now. Right. There's no.
Spiral out.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Be more than we thought we could be. Peace out.